In 1783, the Sunni Al Khalifa family took power in Bahrain. In order to secure these holdings, it entered into a series of treaties with the UK during the 19th century that made Bahrain a British protectorate. The archipelago attained its independence in 1971. A steady decline in oil production and reserves since 1970 prompted Bahrain to take steps to diversify its economy, in the process developing petroleum processing and refining, aluminium production, and hospitality and retail sectors. It has also endeavored to become a leading regional banking center, especially with respect to Islamic finance. Bahrain's small size, central location among Gulf countries, economic dependence on Saudi Arabia, and proximity to Iran require it to play a delicate balancing act in foreign affairs among its larger neighbors. Its foreign policy activities usually fall in line with Saudi Arabia and the UAE.
The Sunni royal family has long struggled to manage relations with its large Shia majority population. In early 2011, amid Arab uprisings elsewhere in the region, the Bahraini government confronted similar pro-democracy and reform protests at home with police and military action, including deploying Gulf Cooperation Council security forces to Bahrain. Political talks throughout 2014 between the government and opposition and loyalist political groups failed to reach an agreement, prompting opposition political societies to boycott legislative and municipal council elections in late 2014. Ongoing dissatisfaction with the political status quo continues to factor into sporadic clashes between demonstrators and security forces.
Geography.
Bahrain.
Location. Middle East. Archipelago in the Persian Gulf, east of Saudi Arabia.
Geographic coordinates 2600 N, 5033E.
Map references. Middle East.
Area total
760 square kilometers.
Land
760 square kilometers.
Water
0 square kilometers.
Country comparison to the world
188.
Area comparative 3.5 times the size of Washington, D.C.
Land boundaries 0 kilometers.
Coastline 161 kilometers.
Maritime claims territorial sea
12 m.
Contiguous zone
24 m.
Continental shelf
Extending to boundaries to be determined.
Climate arid, mild, pleasant winters, very hot, humid summers.
Terrain mostly low desert plain rising gently to low central escarpment.
Elevation 0 meters lowest point.
Persian Gulf
135 highest point.
Jabal ad-Dukhan.
Natural resources: oil, associated and non-associated natural gas, fish, pearls.
Land use agricultural land
11.3%.
arable land
2.1%. Permanent crops
3.9% / permanent pasture
5.3%.
forest
0.7%.
other
88%.
irrigated land 40 square kilometers.
Population distribution: smallest population of the Gulf states, but urbanization rate exceeds 90%. Largest settlement concentration is found on the far northern end of the island in and around Manama and Al Muharraq.
Natural hazards: periodic droughts, dust storms.
Environment: current issues: desertification resulting from the degradation of limited arable land, periods of drought, and dust storms, coastal degradation, damage to coastlines, coral reefs, and sea vegetation, resulting from oil spills and other discharges from large tankers, oil refineries, and distribution stations. Lack of freshwater resources: groundwater and seawater are the only sources for all water needs. Lowered water table leaves aquifers vulnerable to saline contamination. Desalinization provides some 90% of the country's fresh water.
Environment international agreements. Party to
biodiversity, climate change Kyoto Protocol, desertification, hazardous wastes, law of the sea, ozone layer protection, wetlands.
Signed, but not ratified.
None of the selected agreements.
Geography. Note: close to primary Middle Eastern petroleum sources. Strategic location in Persian Gulf, through which much of the Western world's petroleum must transit to reach open ocean.
People and society.
Bahrain.
Population 1,442,659.
Note:
immigrants make up approximately 48% of the total population, according to UN data.
Country comparison to the world.
154.
Nationality. Noun.
Bahrainis.
Adjective.
Bahraini.
Ethnic groups. Bahraini 46%, Asian 45.5%, other Arab 4.7%, African 1.6%, European 1%, other 1.2%, includes Gulf cooperative country nationals, North and South Americans, and Oceanians.
Languages: Arabic, official, English, Farsi, Urdu.
Religions: Muslim 73.7%, Christian 9.3%, Jewish 0.1%, other 16.9%.
Age structure: 0-14 years,
18.88%, male 138,309/female 134,067,
15-24 years,
15.49%, male 126,564/female 96,834,
25-54 years,
56.06%, male 527,417/female 281,391,
55-64 years,
6.49%, male 59,404/female 34,284,
65 years and over,
3.08%, male 22,258/female 22,131.
Population pyramid.
Population pyramid.
Dependency ratios.
Dependency ratios are a measure of the age structure of a population. They relate the number of individuals that are likely to be economically dependent on the support of others. Dependency ratios contrast the ratio of youths, ages 0 to 14, and the elderly, ages 65 plus, to the number of those in the working age group, ages 15 to 64. Changes in the dependency ratio provide an indication of potential social support requirements resulting from changes in population age structures, as fertility level. More dependency ratios. Field listing.
Total dependency ratio
30.2.
Youth dependency ratio
27.1.
Elderly dependency ratio
3.
Potential support ratio
33.1.
Median age total
32.5 years.
Male
34 years.
Female
29.8 years.
Country comparison to the world
99.
Population growth rate.
The average annual percent change in the population, resulting from a surplus, or deficit, of births over deaths and the balance of migrants entering and leaving a country. The rate may be positive or negative. The growth rate is a factor in determining how great a burden would be imposed on a country by the changing needs of its people for infrastructure, e.g., schools, hospitals, housing, roads, resources, e.g., food, water, electricity, and jobs. Rapid population growth can be seen as more population growth rate. Field listing.
2.19%.
Country comparison to the world.
37.
Birth rate. 13.1 births out of 1,000 population.
Country comparison to the world.
144.
Death rate. 2.8 deaths out of 1,000 population.
Country comparison to the world.
223.
Net migration rate. 12.1 migrant s out of 1,000 population.
Country comparison to the world.
6.
Population distribution. Smallest population of the Gulf states, but urbanization rate exceeds 90%. Largest settlement concentration is found on the far northern end of the island in and around Manama and Al-Muharraq.
Urbanization. Urban population.
89.3% of total population.
Rate of urbanization.
4.38% annual rate of change.
Major urban areas. Population. 565,000 Manama, capital.
Sex ratio, at birth.
1.03 male, s/female.
0-14 years.
1.03 male, s/female.
15-24 years.
1.3 male, s/female.
25-54 years.
1.88 male, s/female.
55-64 years.
1.81 male, s/female.
65 years and over.
0.95 male, s/female.
Total population.
1.54 male, s/female.
Maternal mortality rate.
The maternal mortality rate, MMR, is the annual number of female deaths per 100,000 live births from any cause related to or aggravated by pregnancy or its management, excluding accidental or incidental causes. The MMR includes deaths during pregnancy, childbirth, or within 42 days of termination of pregnancy, irrespective of the duration in sight of the pregnancy, for a specified year. Maternal mortality rate. Field listing.
15 deaths/100,000 of births.
Country comparison to the world.
135.
Infant mortality rate. Total.
8.8 deaths out of 1,000 live births.
Male.
9.7 deaths out of 1,000 live births.
Female.
7.7 deaths out of 1,000 live births.
Country comparison to the world.
146.
Life expectancy at birth. Total population.
79.1 years.
Male.
76.9 years.
Female.
81.5 years.
Country comparison to the world.
50.
Total fertility rate. 1.73 children born/woman.
Country comparison to the world.
165.
Health expenditures. 5% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
139.
Physicians density. 0.92 physicians out of 1,000 population.
Hospital bed density. 2 beds out of 1,000 population.
Drinking water source. Improved.
Urban.
100% of population.
Rural.
100% of population.
Total.
100% of population.
Unimproved.
Urban.
0% of population.
Rural.
0% of population.
Total.
0% of population.
Sanitation facility access. Improved.
Urban.
99.2% of population.
Rural.
99.2% of population.
Total.
99.2% of population.
Unimproved.
Urban.
0.8% of population.
Rural.
0.8% of population.
Total.
0.8% of population.
HIV/AIDS adult prevalence rate.
Less than 1%. Less than / voice required equals name equals Ivona to Brian greater than HIV/AIDS. People living with HIV/AIDS less than / voice required equals name equals Sia voice Jess. English. England. / voice required equals name equals Ivona to Brian greater than less than 500. Less than / voice required equals name equals Sia voice Jess. English. England. Greater than HIV/AIDS. Deaths less than / voice required equals name equals Ivona to Brian / voice required equals name equals Sia voice Jess. English. England. Greater than, less than 100, less than / voice required equals name equals Ivona to Brian greater than obesity. Adult prevalence rate less than / voice required equals name equals Sia voice Jess. English. England. / voice required equals name equals Ivona to Brian greater than 29.8% less than / voice.
Country comparison to the world.
25.
Education expenditures. 2.7% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
158.
Literacy. Definition.
Age 15 and over can read and write.
Total population.
95.7%.
Male.
96.9%.
Female.
93.5%.
Unemployment. Youth ages 15-24. Total.
5.3%.
Male.
2.6%.
Female.
12.2%.
Country comparison to the world.
153.
Government.
Bahrain.
Country name. Conventional long form.
Kingdom of Bahrain.
Conventional short form.
Bahrain.
Local long form.
Mamlakat al-Bahrain.
Local short form.
Al-Bahrain.
Former.
Dilmun, Tylos, Awal, Mishmahig, Bahrain, State of Bahrain.
Etymology.
The name means the two seas in Arabic and refers to the water bodies surrounding the archipelago.
Government type. Constitutional monarchy.
Capital. Name.
Manama.
Geographic coordinates.
2614 N, 5034 E.
Time difference.
UTC +3, 8 hours ahead of Washington, D.C., during Standard Time.
Etymology.
Name derives from the Arabic al-Manama meaning place of rest or place of dreams.
Administrative divisions. 4 governorates. Muhafazat, singular. Muhafaza, Asima, capital. Janubaya, southern. Maharak, Shamala, northern.
Note.
Each governorate administered by an appointed governor.
Independence.
For most countries, this entry gives the date that sovereignty was achieved and from which nation, empire, or trusteeship. For the other countries, the date given may not represent independence in the strict sense, but rather some significant nationhood event such as the traditional founding date or the date of unification, federation, confederation, establishment, fundamental change in the form of government, or state succession. For a number of countries, the establishment of statehood. More independence field listing.
The 15th of August 1971, From the UK.
National holiday. National Day, the 16th of December, 1971. Note, the 15th of August 1971 was the date of independence from the UK. The 16th of December 1971 was the date of independence from British protection.
Constitution. History.
Adopted the 14th of February 2002.
Amendments.
Proposed by the King or by at least 15 members of either chamber of the National Assembly, followed by submission to an Assembly committee for review and, if approved, submitted to the government for restatement as drafts. Passage requires a two-thirds majority vote by the membership of both chambers and validation by the King. Constitutional articles on the state religion, Islam, state language, Arabic, and the monarchy and inherited rule cannot be amended. Amended 2012, 2017.
Legal system. Mixed legal system of Islamic law, English common law, Egyptian civil, criminal, and commercial codes. Customary law.
International Law Organization participation has not submitted an ICJ jurisdiction declaration. Non-party state to the Act.
Citizenship. Citizenship by birth.
No.
Citizenship by descent only.
The father must be a citizen of Bahrain.
Dual citizenship recognized.
No.
Residency requirement for naturalization.
25 years. 15 years for Arab nationals.
Suffrage. 20 years of age. Universal.
Executive branch. Chief of State.
King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, since the 6th of March 1999. Crown Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, son of the monarch, born the 21st of October 1969.
Head of government.
Prime Minister Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, since 1971. First Deputy Prime Minister Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, since the 11th of March 2013. Deputy Prime Ministers Mohammed bin Mubarak Al Khalifa, since September 2005, Jawad bin Salim Al Array, Ali bin Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, since the 11th of December 2006, Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, since November 2010.
Cabinet.
Cabinet appointed by the monarch.
Elections/appointments.
The monarchy is hereditary. Prime Minister appointed by the monarch.
Legislative branch. Description.
Bicameral National Assembly consists of
Consultative Council or Majlis al-Shura, 40 seats, members appointed by the King.
Council of Representatives or Majlis al-Nuwab, 40 seats, members directly elected in single-seat constituencies by absolute majority vote in 2 rounds if needed. Members serve 4-year renewable terms.
Elections. Consultative Council. Last appointments on the 7th of December 2014. Next not.
Council of Representatives, first round for 9 members held on the 24th of November 2018, second round for remaining 31 members held on the 1st of December 2018, next to be held in 2022.
Election results. Consultative Council. Composition. Not.
Council of Representatives, for 2018 election, percent of vote by society, Na, seats by society, Islamic al-Asala, Sunni Salafi, 3, Minbar al-Taqaddumi, Communist, 2, National Unity Gathering, Sunni Pro-Government, 1, National Islamic Minbar, Sunni Muslim Brotherhood, 1, Independent 33, Composition, Men 34, Women 6, percent of women 15%, note, total National Assembly percent of women Na.
Judicial branch. Highest courts.
Court of Cassation or Supreme Court of Appeal, consists of the chairman and 3 judges. Constitutional Court, consists of the President and 6 members. High Sharia Court of Appeal, court sittings include the President and at least 1 judge. Appeals beyond the High Sharia Court of Appeal are heard by the Supreme Court of Appeal.
Judge selection in term of office.
Court of Cassation judges appointed by royal decree and serve for a specified tenure. Constitutional Court President and members appointed by the Higher Judicial Council, a body chaired by the monarch and includes judges from the Court of Cassation, Sharia law courts, and civil high courts of appeal. Members serve 9-year terms. High Sharia Court of Appeal member appointment and tenure Na.
Subordinate courts.
Civil high courts of appeal, middle and lower civil courts, High Sharia Court of Appeal, Senior Sharia Court, Administrative Courts of Appeal, Military Courts.
Note.
The judiciary of Bahrain is divided into civil law courts and Sharia law courts. Sharia courts involving personal status and family law are further divided into Sunni Muslim and Shia Muslim.
Political parties and leaders. Note.
Political parties are prohibited. but political societies were legalized under a July 2005 law.
International Organization Participation ABEDA, AFST, AMF, Q, Chica, FAO, G77, IA, IBD, ICAO, ICC, National Committees, ICRM, IDA, IDB, IFX, EHO, ELO, IMF, EMO, IMSO, Interpol, IOC, IOM, Observer, IPU, ISO, ITSO, ITU, ITUC, NGOs, LAS, MEGA, NAM, OPIC, OC, OPCA, UN, UNCTAD, UNESCO, UNIDO, UNUTO, UPU, UCO, UF2, NGOs, WHO, WIPO, WMO, RUTO.
Diplomatic representation in the U.S. Chief of Mission.
Ambassador Abdullah bin Rashid Al Khalifa, since the 21st of July 2017.
Chancery.
3502 International Drive Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20008.
Telephone.
1-202-342-1111.
Fax.
1-202-362-2192.
Consulates General.
New York.
Diplomatic representation from the U.S. Chief of Mission.
Ambassador Justin H. Cyberl, since November 2017.
Embassy.
Building #979, Road 3119, next to Al Ali Sports Club, Block 331, Zinj District, Manama.
Mailing address.
451, Box 660, FOA 09834-5100, International Mail.
American Embassy, Box 26431, Manama.
Telephone.
973 1724 to 2700.
Fax.
973 1727 to 2594.
Flag description. Red, the traditional color for flags of Persian Gulf states, with a white serrated band, 5 white points, on the hoist side. The 5 points represent the 5 pillars of Islam.
Note.
Until 2002, the flag had 8 white points, but this was reduced to 5 to avoid confusion with the Qatari flag.
National symbols.
A national symbol is a faunal, floral, or other abstract representation, or some distinctive object that over time has come to be closely identified with a country or entity. Not all countries have national symbols. A few countries have more than one. National symbol, S. Field listing.
A red field surmounted by a white serrated band with 5 white points. National colors.
Red, white.
National anthem.
A generally patriotic musical composition, usually in the form of a song or hymn of praise, that evokes and eulogizes the history, traditions, or struggles of a nation or its people. National anthems can be officially recognized as a national song by a country's constitution or by an enacted law, or simply by tradition. Although most anthems contain lyrics, some do not. National anthem field listing.
Name.
Bahrain, a Bahrain.
Lyrics. Music.
Unknown.
Note.
Adopted 1971. Although Mohammed Sidki Al-Yash wrote the original lyrics, they were changed in 2002 following the transformation of Bahrain from an emirate to a kingdom.
Economy.
Bahrain.
Economy. Overview. Oil and natural gas play a dominant role in Bahrain's economy. Despite the government's past efforts to diversify the economy, oil still comprises 85% of Bahraini budget revenues. In the last few years, lower world energy prices have generated sizable budget deficits, about 10% of GDP in 2017 alone. Bahrain has few options for covering these deficits, with low foreign assets and fewer oil resources compared to its GCC neighbors. The 3 major U.S. credit agencies downgraded Bahrain's sovereign debt rating to junk status in 2016, citing persistently low oil prices and the government's high debt levels. Nevertheless, Bahrain was able to raise about $4 billion by issuing foreign currency-denominated debt in 2017.
Other major economic activities are production of aluminum, Bahrain's second biggest export after oil and gas, finance, and construction. Bahrain continues to seek new natural gas supplies as feedstock to support its expanding petrochemical and aluminum industries. In April 2018, Bahrain announced it had found a significant oil field off the country's west coast, but is still assessing how much of their oil can be extracted profitably.
In addition to addressing its current fiscal woes, Bahraini authorities face the long-term challenge of boosting Bahrain's regional competitiveness, especially regarding industry, finance, and tourism, and reconciling revenue constraints with popular pressure to maintain generous state subsidies and a large public sector. Since 2015, the government lifted subsidies on meat, diesel, kerosene, and gasoline and has begun to phase in higher prices for electricity and water. As part of its diversification plans, Bahrain implemented a free trade agreement, FTA, with the US in August 2006, the first FTA between the US and a Gulf state. It plans to introduce a value-added tax, VAT, by the end of 2018.
GDP, purchasing power parity, $71.17 billion,
$68.59 billion.
$66.3 billion.
Note.
Data in 2017 dollars.
Country comparison to the world.
100.
GDP. Official exchange rate. $35.33 billion.
GDP. Real growth rate. 3.8%.
3.5%.
2.9%.
Country comparison to the world.
86.
GDP. Per capita. PPP. $49,000.
$48,200.
$48,400.
Note.
Data are in 2017 dollars.
Country comparison to the world.
33.
Gross national saving.
Gross national saving is derived by deducting final consumption expenditure, household plus government, from gross national disposable income, and consists of personal saving, plus business saving, the sum of the capital consumption allowance and retained business profits, plus government saving, the excess of tax revenues over expenditures, but excludes foreign saving, the excess of imports of goods and services over exports. The figures are presented as a percent of GDP. A negative. More gross national saving field listing.
19.8% of GDP.
21.2% of GDP.
22% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
99.
GDP. Composition. By end use. Household consumption.
45.8%.
Government consumption.
15.5%.
Investment in fixed capital.
26.1%.
Investment in inventories.
0.4%.
Exports of goods and services.
80.2%.
Imports of goods and services.
Minus 67.9%.
GDP. Composition. By sector of origin. Agriculture.
0.3%.
Industry.
39.3%.
Services.
60.4%.
Agriculture, products, fruit, vegetables, poultry, dairy products, shrimp, fish.
Industries. Petroleum processing and refining, aluminum smelting, iron pelletization, fertilizers, Islamic and offshore banking, insurance, ship repairing, tourism.
Industrial production growth rate, 0.6%.
Country comparison to the world.
165.
Labor force. 831,600.
Note.
Excludes unemployed. 44% of the population in the 15 to 64 age group is non-national.
Country comparison to the world.
149.
Labor force. By occupation. Agriculture.
1%.
Industry.
32%.
Services.
67%.
Unemployment rate. 3.6%.
3.7%.
Note.
Official estimate. Actual rate is higher.
Country comparison to the world.
43.
Population below poverty line.
National estimates of the percentage of the population falling below the poverty line are based on surveys of subgroups, with the results weighted by the number of people in each group. Definitions of poverty vary considerably among nations. For example, rich nations generally employ more generous standards of poverty than poor nations. Population below poverty line field listing. Household income or consumption by percentage share.
Data on household income or consumption come from household surveys, the results adjusted for household size. Nations use different standards and procedures in collecting and adjusting the data. Surveys based on income will normally show a more unequal distribution than surveys based on consumption. The quality of surveys is improving with time, yet caution is still necessary in making inter-country comparisons. Household income or consumption by percentage share field listing.
Lowest 10%. Highest 10%. Budget. Revenues.
5.854 billion.
Expenditures.
9.407 billion.
Taxes and other revenues. 16.6% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
176.
Budget surplus, plus, or deficit, minus 10.1%, of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
211.
Public debt, 88.5% of GDP.
81.4% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
26.
Fiscal year, calendar year.
Inflation rate, consumer prices, 1.4%.
2.8%.
Country comparison to the world.
76.
Central bank discount rate, 1.75%. The 18th of December 2017.
0.5%. The 31st of December 2010.
Country comparison to the world.
121.
Commercial bank prime lending rate, 5.33%.
5.18%.
Country comparison to the world.
139.
Stock of Naira money, $9.185 billion.
$9.078 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
84.
Stock of broad money, $9.185 billion.
$9.078 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
86.
Stock of domestic credit, $29.72 billion.
$29.08 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
80.
Market value of publicly traded shares, $19.25 billion.
$22.07 billion.
$18.57 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
64.
Current account balance, minus $1.6 billion.
Minus $1.493 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
159.
Exports, $15.38 billion.
$12.78 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
77.
Exports, partners, UAE 19.6%, Saudi Arabia 11.7%, US 10.8%, Oman 8.1%, China 6.5%, Qatar 5.7%, Japan 4.2%.
Exports, commodities, petroleum and petroleum products, aluminium, textiles.
Imports, $16.08 billion.
$13.59 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
85.
Imports, commodities, crude oil, machinery, chemicals.
Imports, partners, China 8.8%, UAE 7.2%, US 7.1%, Australia 5.3%, Japan 4.8%.
Reserves of foreign exchange and gold, $2.349 billion.
$3.094 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
118.
Debt, external, $52.15 billion.
$42.55 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
63.
Stock of direct foreign investment, at home, $22.08 billion.
$21.56 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
76.
Stock of direct foreign investment, abroad, $10.66 billion.
$10.5 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
65.
Exchange rates, Bahraini dinars, BHD, per US dollar.
0.376.
0.376.
0.376.
0.376.
0.376.
Energy.
Bahrain.
Electricity access. Population without electricity.
41,317.
Electrification. Total population.
98%.
Electrification. Urban areas.
98%.
Electrification. Rural areas.
93%.
Electricity. Production. 26.81 billion.
Country comparison to the world.
70.
Electricity. Consumption. 26.11